Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today is doing my 2024 finals preview. The NBA finals start tonight. We finally have basketball back, and I am super excited. I'm going to preview everything about this final series here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really upset a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that, description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the NBA finals start now. The Celtics and the Mavericks 2024 finals. We've known this matchup for about a week. We've had a week dang near of no basketball, which sucks. But I am anticipating a really good series in this finals. I'm anticipating it, and I think it's going to be. I don't think anybody's going to lose in 4 or 5 games in this series, and if it does happen in 5, it's going to be a very close 5, but just one team is just better at closing out games than the other. That's how it's going to be. But I'm very excited for this series. Of course, you have all the storylines and the headlines, the Kyrie Irving back against Boston, Porzingis back against the Mavericks. You know, you got that little rivalry, I guess. I don't know, rivalry, but that little plot hole and stuff is very interesting, with these teams, Celtics and Mavs. The Celtics, of course, have had the expectations all year. Coming into the year, they were the favorite. Then they won they were the best team by far in the regular season. 1 seed coming in the playoffs. They had an easier route to the finals. So all the pressure really is on the Boston Celtics to win a championship this year. That's really what it is. And for the Mavericks, of course, they had the trade deadline where they traded for Gafford and Washington. Since then, they were one of the best teams in the league. Beat the Clippers in the first round, Thunder in the second round, Timberwolves in the conference finals, and glided their way all the way to the NBA finals. Now Luka Doncic at 25 gets his first finals appearance. Kyrie Irving with another chance to win a ring and kind of, get back into the good graces of everybody. After the last couple of years, just a lot of storylines and plot lines going on in this finals, which is what makes it super exciting as well. But in terms of game action and in terms of this series, I think we're gonna have a really good matchup. I've had coaches Joe Mazzulla and Jason Kidd. I feel like that's gonna be a really good matchup. Jason Kidd has been really good so far this playoffs, so making adjustments, doing stuff like that. Joe Mazzulla is one of the better coaches in the league. This is his first finals experience, though. The last time Celtics in the finals was still Ime, so we're gonna see how that works. But I think it's gonna be a really good coaching battle, really good back and forth. I think we're definitely gonna have some offensive firepower in this series potentially as well. Even though the Mavericks have been a really good team in terms of being fine with grinding out games, while Boston is supposed to be an elite defense, they've had some moments where they kind of get lackadaisical. That cannot happen in this series, and I don't think it's gonna happen this year. I think the Celtics understand this is the Mavericks now. This isn't the Pacers without Tyrese. This isn't the Cavs without Donovan Mitchell. This is the Dallas Mavericks. We're in the NBA Finals now. It's time to lock in. So I assume Celtics going to be a lot better and a lot more locked in and have a lot less, like kind of coasting moments in this series than they did in the first 3 rounds, and they could afford to, and they could still win games. So I expect that. I expect a really good defense matchup back and forth. I expect, of course, offensive firepower. The Celtics, Tatum, Brown, have everybody. Mavericks, of course, have Luka, Kyrie. That's that offense. We've seen it in the last round could explode for 66 points combined, which is something that's a big advantage they have, I guess. But looking at this series, I'm thinking about defensive matchups first of all, like who's gonna guard who on the other end. I've been thinking about it for the Celtics end guarding the Mavericks, and honestly, I won't be surprised if you see the early tactic at least. Joe Mazzulla throwing out the, you know what, Luka. Like I think Jrue Holiday might not put Jrue Holiday on Luka. You might put Derek White or even Jaylen Brown on Luka, and just say, you know what, Luka, we know you're great. We know you're probably the best player in the league right now. You could do your thing, but we're gonna stop everybody else from doing their thing, which is kind of what OKC tried to do a little bit. It just didn't really work because PJ Washington killed. Actually, no, that's not that. Because OKC try to guard Luka and Kyrie, let everybody else shoot. Never mind. But I think doing that tactic might work a little bit, or they might try not work, but they might try it just to see how it works, because of course Luka can explode and give you 35, 40, 45 whenever he really wants to, but I feel like, but the main cherry on top is the main reason the Mavericks have gone here is because of the others. It's when Kyrie Irving also has 30 points, while Luka also has 30. It's when Kyrie has 33 points. PJ Washington hits 5 threes. Derrick Jones Jr. hits 2 or 3 threes. Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford combined for 30 points and 20 rebounds and a couple blocks. That's when you get in trouble, and that's when you're dead in the water at that point. Because at that point, now that everybody else got it going, Luka just has complete control of the game, and now he can do anything he wants. Because now it's like PJ Washington hit 5 threes. You're not going to guard him? Okay, then I'm going to score. It's like that's when Luka and Kyrie have control of the game when everybody else is also putting in. So I assume because Boston has so many versatile defenders and stuff like that, maybe you see Jrue Holiday not guarding Luka. Maybe he guards Kyrie Irving. Maybe Jrue Holiday tries to lock down Kyrie. Maybe you see the extra attention, or you see attention on PJ Washington in the corner, Derrick Jones Jr., Gafford, and Lively when they're in, and they just let Luka go one-on-one a little bit. I would be surprised if that's how you start and see the game. Is it going to work? I don't know, because Luka's amazing. But I just won't be surprised if that's really how you see, the Celtics start defensively, is just letting Luka Doncic do whatever he wants, going to get his points, and just not allowing anybody else to do anything and impact the game on the offensive end. Other end, defensively, I assume Tatum. I think I don't know, maybe you put PJ Walker a little bit bigger than Derrick Jones Jr. Derrick Jones Jr. is a little bit thin, but then you also have Jaylen Brown, who's very strong and likes to attack the rim. So maybe you put PJ Washington because he's a bigger body on Jaylen Brown, and you let Derrick Jones Jr. guard Tatum, and then Luka probably guards Jrue Holiday in the corner, I assume, because Jrue Holiday's got the big body, he likes to post stuff, so Luka can guard that, and then Kyrie on Derek White, and then the big man battle, obviously down low. Porzingis now back, and Gafford. Thinking of X factors, I think for Boston is Kristaps Porzingis. I think I've been saying all year, Kristaps Porzingis. The Celtics are already a really, really good team, but Kristaps Porzingis makes his team elite, in my opinion. Having a 7'3" guy that can do all the things Porzingis can do, can shoot the ball, can break defenses, really. Like, that's what makes them the best team by far in the league. It's Kristaps Porzingis. And people have been talking about it, the way Dallas has been defending, they've been allowing the centers because at this point they have not really had a center that has been able to kill him. First round, it was Zubac. Besides like little hook shots, he's not doing much. Chet Holmgren is a shooter, but Dallas was living with Chet Holmgren shooting as long as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams weren't getting to the paint and weren't dominating and give you 30 points. And Chet Holmgren didn't have an amazing shooting series. Then last round, Rudy Gobert. Yeah, okay. Like, we're going to guard him. Now, you got Kristaps Porzingis, who you're going to need to guard at some point. I won't be surprised if you see early on, especially because it's game one and Porzingis is going to be his first game in like a month. I won't be surprised if early in the game, in game one, you see Dallas not really guarding Porzingis and allowing Porzingis to shoot the ball a little bit just to see where he's at in terms of a rhythm and rust. Because you assume he hasn't played in a month and he's going to come right into a final series. He might not be great to start, but he'll eventually, get it together. So I think Porzingis is the real X factor. Porzingis can take advantage of that and put Dallas dead in the water with that and force Dallas to kind of have to change their defense and force someone else to go out and guard Porzingis and stuff like that, and force Lively and Gafford out of the paint to get easier rim attempts for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I think that's a big thing. Well, that's a big advantage for Boston. I think having Porzingis and having him shooting the ball and being aggressive in scoring is gonna be big. For the Dallas Mavericks' sake, it's gonna sound a little bit cliche, but it's gonna have to be everybody besides Luka and Kyrie. It really is. It's gonna have to be everybody besides Luka and Kyrie. We know what Luka can do. Even though Kyrie's gonna get guarded heavily, we assume he's gonna have some good games. It's really gonna have to be about the others because with Boston, there are others. We know what they can do. Derek White, we know he can do. Jrue Holiday, he can do impact the game. Both of those guys. Al Horford, he's been pretty good. Like we know what the others are gonna do for Boston and how they're gonna try to impact the game. For Dallas, PJ Washington, Derrick Jones, Gafford, Lively, even like Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, Maxi Kleber when they come into the game, they're going to have to make an impact on the game consistently. They're going to have to lock in defensively. They're going to have to rebound. They're going to have to hit or open shots when they get them against this Boston team. Like those guys are going to have to be on point, in my opinion, for the Mavericks to win this series. Those guys are going to have to be on point. They can't have bad games. They can't have like bad shooting nights or just times when they're just out there not really doing much. Gafford and Lively I expect to be doing stuff, and PJ Washington. It's really about like Derrick Jones, Kleber, Josh Green. Like, how are they really gonna be in their minutes when they play? They're not gonna play. Josh Green, Max Kleber don't play a whole lot of minutes, but even still, every time is valuable, especially if Luka, Kyrie are not on the court. It's gonna be vital that those guys are gonna have to be out there and they're gonna have to make an impact every time they step onto the court. You know, they're gonna have to make an impact, whether it's hitting shots, whether it's defensively, whether it's the rebounding aspect, whether it's bringing energy at the very least. You know, it's gonna have to be something. You know, I think that's a big X factor for Dallas. Is really everybody besides Luka and Kyrie are gonna have to be on point in this series. I'm very excited for it. Obviously, I'm very, 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 very excited. The finals, getting to see a new champion be crowned for the first time in a little while. Boston hasn't won since '08. Dallas hasn't won since 11. So we're gonna see someone win their first championship for the first time in a while. We're gonna see one of these young stars, Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic, are gonna have an NBA championship after this, which is gonna change, could add some on to some legacy. Jason Tatum already has so many things, so much playoff success, so many things already at a young age. At what, 26, I think he is, having a championship now. Maybe validate him a little bit more in terms of the NBA fans and stuff like that. Luka Doncic is already on a trajectory to be one of the greatest players of all time. If he gets a championship before the age of 25, and I talked about it when I talked about Dallas Mavericks going to the finals, I talked about him comparing him to Luka and LeBron. I mean, comparing him to Jordan and LeBron in terms of stats and stuff like that. And Luka getting a ring already at 25 years old, 2 years before Jordan and LeBron got one. That's good. That's going to be a lot. Luka's already going to have a Hall of Fame case. I feel like if he wins a championship and wins Finals MVP already at 25 years old, like just insane. Legacies are going to be shifted after this championship, you know. And I'm just going to be sitting back, loving it, relaxing. Of course, we're going to do our recaps after every game, so stay tuned for those. And I just can't wait. Now, my final prediction. I've been thinking about it. Obviously, I've had a week to think about it. My final prediction for the NBA Finals, I'm going to go with. I'm still very like 50-50 because the Celtics have been the best team all year, and Boston is the better team. Boston has been great. And I can see the world where Boston just kind of does it. You know, just does it, locks in, and do it. But the Dallas Mavericks have this fight, this urge in them, and it's really hard to pick against Luka Doncic in a playoff series. Have you seen that? It's very hard to pick against Luka Doncic in a playoff series. And if he continues the momentum like he had in the Minnesota series, it's gonna be really tough for picked against him. But ultimately, I'm gonna go with the Celtics. I'm going with Boston. Give me Boston in 6. Boston. I don't know though. There's something in my heart telling me go with Dallas because Dallas is gonna come out and have fight and upset them. I'm gonna go Boston though. I'm gonna go Boston in 6. I'm going Boston in 6. That's my final prediction. Boston in 6. Does my prediction really matter? No. At this point, I don't care if Boston wins or if Dallas. I just want to see some really good basketball. I just want to see some finals elite basketball. That's all I want to see. So I'm not rooting really for anybody in this series. I'm just rooting for the best possible game we could get. You know, but I'm very excited for it. Let me know down in the comments below your prediction and what you think about this final series. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.